Hi there, I'm Joey.
I'm Jacob.
And we are watching Star Trek for the first time. Last time on Star Trek, war. What is it good for? It was a good one. War fought by computers. It was a great episode. It was a really great episode.
An idea I'm mad I didn't think of first.
Yes. Today we are watching an episode called This Side of Paradise.
This Side of Paradise. That's both descriptive enough that I think I could maybe guess what might happen, but I'm not confident in that guess.
Yeah, I don't know, but I guess we'll see. So we're gonna get into post-episode thoughts in a second. Be sure to join us then. We are about to watch This Side of Paradise. So finally another Spock-centric episode, which we haven't had in a little bit.
Well, I would say it's a Spock-centric episode, but then there's also like half the episode centered around Kirk's dilemma.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I mean, like,
it's totally a Spock episode.
Yeah, it's a Spock episode. But I really like this one, actually. I thought this was really, really cool. Also, just kind of funny. The setting of this planet was called Omicron 3, and I don't know. It's about like a thing that like affects all the people that are there.
Yeah.
All right, it's just kind of funny. Anyway. So I actually liked, there weren't too many like different side characters throughout this, but I really liked the two that we focused on. We had Elias Sandoval and Layla Kalomi, I think?
Yeah.
I had the name written down, but I think they only said the last name like twice.
Yeah, they didn't pronounce it very often at all.
Yeah, also just another funny little thing, Sandoval is pronounced differently in like one scene, and it really bothered me. Kirk says it as Sandoval.
Sandoval.
And also, before we really dive into the discussion of this episode, I did want to bring up that this episode shows up on 2 of our 5 top 10 Star Trek lists.
Oh, does it?
It does. It shows up on number 9 on the IGN list.
Okay.
And number 8 on the Entertainment Weekly list.
Huh. I mean, I could see why it's on a few lists.
Yep. Not particularly high on either of them.
No, which also makes complete sense.
But I really love, I mean, like, as far as, like, I will always lament that this show does not focus on a lot of characters outside of Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, but an episode like this that is specifically meant to be like a character piece for Kirk and Spock, fucking perfect. Like, I love
brilliant.
it. It's really, really great. We get some really great moments for Kirk specifically here. So, in short, the plot of this episode is that they go down to this planet where these humans have colonized over to this other planet. They should not be able to survive here.
They should have like found corpses on corpses.
Yeah, but these people have survived, and we learn eventually that it's because of these flowers that have like these magical like healing properties, but also make you like really like lax and like not very like productive, I guess.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Like yeah, that's what they say. You have no want, no drive, no needs.
Yeah.
You basically just live the life of you farm a couple hours a day, you sit and drink tea the rest.
Yeah. And that's that. So we focus on those flowers, and Spock is eventually hit by one, and Spock's character eventually like gets these like flowers out to like all the rest of the crew. It gets to Sulu, it gets to McCoy, it gets to all the other crewmen they have down there.
All 400 plus crew members.
Literally gets to the entirety of the Enterprise, and all the Enterprise crew members go down to the planet below, and Kirk is left on the ship alone up there. In like the best scene of the episode, Kirk is left completely alone in the Enterprise. He goes up to the bridge, does this great captain's log, and I quoted a line from it that I really, really love. I have here, I don't know what I can offer against paradise. And I just love that, because at the end of the day, he can't.
Paradise.
He can't actually get them anything better than paradise. In fact, how he stops them from being controlled in the end is by giving them less.
Yeah.
By stooping below that.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't take the high ground in any meaningful capacity. He literally has to like make them beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah. But I really do want to talk about Spock during this, because it's a great episode for him. So through him getting hit by the flower, by the spores in the flower, he is he's made like really lax, and like all of his like Vulcan logic is like thrown out the window,
right.
And he falls in love with Layla.
Or we should say he's admitting he's in love with her.
Yeah, so the thing was that like he met Layla like 6 years ago.
She said 6 years ago on Earth.
Yeah, and she, at the time she admitted her love to him, and he's Spock, so he's not going to say shit back.
She probably got like a blank stare and was like, "That's nice."
Yeah, he gave the eyebrow raise. And then just walked away. No. Okay. So fuck. Okay. So after he's hit with the spores from the flowers, he admits that he's in love with her as well, and they're together for most of the episode. And at the end, when Kirk breaks Spock from the control of the spores, Spock calls Layla up to have like one last conversation with her before they free everyone from the spores. And it's this really beautiful scene where Layla talks about what he means to her, and how it was so nice to just be under the control of the spores, because you didn't feel like you were under control. In fact, it was probably freeing.
Yeah, it was a freeing thing, and I like that. To get her out of the spores' control, he doesn't do what everyone else has done.
Yeah,
he breaks her heart.
Yeah. Oh my god. Ooh, it's so good. And so the idea is that like to break free from it, you have to elicit some sort of like negative reaction from the person.
Yeah.
So that's what Kirk starts with Spock. He starts a fight with him. I did quote that as well.
It was a great line.
Yeah. Kirk says to Spock here, "You mutinous, disloyal, computerized half-breed," which I thought was pretty great.
It was a great line.
But no. Okay. So you have to like elicit like a negative reaction. So Spock talks to Layla, and as you said, breaks her heart. But we have this great conversation then, and Spock says that like we all must, if there is such a thing as self-made purgatories, we must face them on our own. He says mine is no different from anyone else's, which I think I get why he's saying that, because mega logic brain, but most people would look at that and be like, no, yours is worse than any self-made purgatory that we make for ourselves.
Right.
You
know?
Like
we all have, I would agree, we all, at some point, I think we would all agree with that statement. We all eventually stop ourselves somewhere because we don't think we could do it. Yeah. Or we don't think we should do it. Mm-hmm. Spock stops like miles before most people would even begin to think about it.
Yeah, exactly. And he just accepts it. He's like, that's the way it is. That's what I have to do. And it's probably the two best scenes of the episode are the captain's log where Kirk is alone, and that scene between Layla and Spock. I did actually really like Nichelle Nicholas's performance when she was affected by the spores and she leaves the bridge.
Yeah.
I like that. I also like that one guy where that Kirk talks to
when
they're all about to beam down onto the planet. And Kirk just calls him Mister. He's not a named character or anything. Right. He's like, you can't do that, Mister. It's like, all right, sure, whatever.
And he's like, yeah, I can.
And so, but I gotta talk about it, because the funniest thing about this whole episode is DeForest Kelly's performance as Dr. McCoy in this is something to behold. He puts on like this really thick Georgia accent and like walks around with like a piece of grass sticking out of his mouth like a toothpick.
Right, I know. And he said this one line. And he's like, I'm gonna make a whatever drink. But the accent he puts on is so thick.
Yeah, like I literally
couldn't make it out.
I could not understand what he was saying. He kept referring to Kirk as Jimmy Boy.
Jimmy Boy.
Like, he was just so funny. Like, I just want to rewatch this episode just to see DeForest Kelly's performance again.
Right. He's like, Jimmy Boy.
Jimmy Boy. He's so good. Yeah, just super fun. But yeah, then so they like free all the people on the planet below, and Sandoval and Layla, they go back to what they were going to do when they're coming to this planet to begin with, before they were affected by the spores.
And they're on Starbase 12, I think they said. That's overly important.
Yeah. Well, we've moved on from Starbase 11. We've done Starbase 11 like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
So
we visited it twice. Mentioned several more.
Yeah. So we moved on now. We've outgrown 11. Now we're on 12.
I think not to get in depth in what's going on, but I feel like that's more a reference to their location in space.
Yeah, probably just moving past their charted course. Yeah.
Yeah. That they're just now physically closer to Starbase 12 than they are Starbase 11.
Yeah. I mean, not that Starbase 11 had the same crew any of the times that we saw it.
Yeah, I know.
You know, it's like I kind of wish there was like that bit of continuity there. You know, like imagine if Stone wasn't every time we saw Starbase 11.
Oh, I know.
I would love that. Like that's the character I want there, but he wasn't. So, but yeah, I guess that about does it. Yeah. Anything else to add on the episode?
It was fun. there was a moment where we were like, oh, they're gonna be like Shirley because Spock's laughing in the background.
Yeah.
And it was just and he's still like
hanging from a tree. Yeah, I just like that. It was just a really fun performance.
Yeah,
everyone had a really good time with this episode.
That's what I felt.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess that about does it. Be sure to join us next week when we continue Star Trek: The Original Series. As always, until next time, this has been Joey Morgan.
I'm Jacob.
And goodbye.